expectations are interesting because when we speak about them usually, we talk about it from a spiritual perspective of don't have any expectations. And if you can do that, nothing like it, fantastic. Puja Swamiji, my guru, always says, expectation is the mother of frustration. And that is true. The issue is, though, if you're really going to live without any expectations, you have to have one expectation. There's one non-negotiable expectation if you're going to get rid of every other one, which is God is taking perfect care of me. Because if you don't have that one expectation, you can't let go of the others. So for example, we have an expectation as we sit here tonight that the waters of Ganga are not going to rise and overflow and flood and sweep us all to our death as we sit in satsang. If we didn't have that expectation, we would not be able to sit here nearly as peacefully or calmly. Those of us under this particular roof have an expectation that the people who constructed it did it well, that the materials they constructed it with were good, and that it's not going to fall on our heads as we sit here. We have an expectation that the earth is not going to open up and swallow us in it, that the garden's not going to catch fire. We have an expectation that the person sitting next to us doesn't have coronavirus and is about to sneeze and infect us, right? Otherwise, suddenly people get very nervous. So we actually have to have, either you have to have that one expectation, that one deep, deep faith in the divine that says, I am being so cared for that I know the roof isn't going to fall, Ganga's not going to rise up, or even if it did, that I would be swept away into something so much more exquisite and extraordinary than where I currently am, that there's nothing to fear. Or you have to at least have those basic senses of expectation. When you're driving your car and you go at a green light, you have an expectation that the other guys are going to stop at a red light. As you enter an intersection, if you have green, when you go through that intersection without any stress, that lack of stress is because you know, they've got a red light, they'll stop. If you don't expect that they will stop on a red light, you won't go without stress on your green. So we have to have some levels of expectation, whether it's one in God or a bare minimum basic levels for our life. However, the issue with the frustration and the depression is when the expectation is not fulfilled, not only do I feel upset and frustrated that I didn't get what I want, but I actually also feel betrayed because not only did I expect something, but I actually felt entitled to have it happen. So when I expect that people are going to treat me with love, with care, and they don't, I'm hurt because they didn't treat me with love and care. And that hurt goes even deeper because I actually feel entitled to be able to trust the people around me to treat me with love and care. So it's a double whammy. You're hurt in both ways. if I expect that the people who did this roof did a good job and they didn't and it falls, A, I have my physical sense of pain that the roof has fallen on my head. But B, I have a sense of how dare they cheated me, they betrayed me, they were supposed to have done a good job, I trusted them. And there's that whole other layer of I was entitled to trust the people who did the work. So the way to manage the expectations is simply to realize that you don't actually have any control over anything outside of you. Hoping for the best from people around you, hoping that they're going to treat you with love, with caring, that they're not going to betray you, that they're not going to leave you, that they're not going to take your love and stomp on it and then walk out the door, that they're not going to cheat you, that they're not going to harm you. You need to have that level of expectation. You need to expect that when you go to sleep at night, the person in bed next to you isn't going to kill you while you sleep. Otherwise, you couldn't go to sleep. So you have to have that. But while you have it, realize that you actually don't have any control. And realize that really, there but for the grace of God go I. That I have no control over what comes over the person in bed next to me. I have no control over the responsibility or competence of the people who made this roof, or the people who play any role in my life. The only thing I have control over is my own response. And since I don't have control over them, instead of expecting something from them, expect something from you. Because that you do have control over. So expect that you are going to be able to meet whatever the world throws at you with love. That you're going to be able to meet whatever the world throws at you with peace, with acceptance. Doesn't mean you're going to love it all. Doesn't mean you're going to say, wow, that was great. Could you cheat me again? Wow, I don't think that betrayal hurt quite enough. Let's do it again. But it means that when it happens, instead of focusing on how what you expected of another was not fulfilled, focus on what you can expect of yourself in this unfortunate situation, which is to respond to it with love. And that doesn't mean that you become a doormat. It doesn't mean you say, oh yeah, you cheated me, you betrayed me, you lied to me, you abandoned me. Okay, yeah, I'll go for it again. But it means that you don't hold on to that sense of, I'm a victim of abuse, I'm a victim of betrayal, I'm a victim of being cheated, I can't trust. Because you can trust. You can trust yourself. You can trust your ability to move through the world with love. You can trust your ability to find the lesson, find the expansion in every moment. And so when your loved ones hurt you, let it be an opportunity to experience love within you that isn't dependent on who they are. Because that's the greatest love. In the songs that Puja Swamiji sings each night in the Aarti, there's a beautiful line that says, Sabse unchi prem sagai. And it means the highest form of love is love for the divine. And so when our love for another human being has not worked out the way we wanted it to, the way we expected it to, instead of letting that love disappear, instead of depriving ourselves of the experience of love within us, that person made a mistake. That person acted out of ignorance or greed or ego or lust or whatever it may be, ignorance. But that doesn't mean that you deserve love any less. It just means that that person was a vehicle for the universe teaching you how to find that limitless source of love within yourself. So shift that expectation onto the self. How can I expect that when I look deeply enough, I'm going to find it? I'm going to find that limitless source of love in myself. You know, when we love someone, it's like we all have these geysers. You know, have you ever seen in Yellowstone National Park or Geneva has it. There's lots of places that have these geysers of water that just or other liquids or minerals that just come up out of the earth like this. Have you ever seen, you know what I'm talking about? Not a volcano, but it comes up out of the earth, this water. And we all have within us, I think in images. And so for me, it's always been about this image of this geyser within me of love. And we all have it. And when you love another being, what happens is that cap of the inner source of love just gets uncapped through another being. They've catalyzed opening up that internal spring of love within you. But just because they turned out to be the wrong person, or someone unreliable or unloyal or incapable of loving in the way that you should be loved, doesn't mean that you have to take the cap and stick it back on that spring of love within you. It means just realize that their role in your life was to uncap it. And whether they now are in your life or not in your life, that love is still flowing. And now it's about you looking inward and feeling it and experiencing it, not dependent on what they do. And that's the expectation to have of yourself, is that you're going to be able to do that.